Okay, I do not have an attorney for the first case. Adrian Graves, not present. Applicant is present. Moving on to the next case.
Yeah.
Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Mr. Singleton, can you hear me?
Good morning. This is Attorney Singleton appearing on behalf of Jermaine Thomas.
Mr. Singleton, can you hear me?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, very good. All right, let's go ahead and get started. We're here on cause number 23 CPR 040101, state of Jason Chi Kwong Lung. All those who intend to testify, if you'd raise your right hand to be sworn by the court. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you provide here today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? I need a verbal response, ma'am.
Yes.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Singleton, you may proceed.
Yes, for our first and only witness, we would call Bonnie K. Lung.
Yes.
Would you please state your name for the court?
Bonnie K. Leung.
Okay. Ms. Lung, you filed an application to probate the last will and testament of Jason Chi Kwong Lung. Is that correct?
Yes.
And what was your relationship to Mr. Lung?
Wife.
Did Jason Chi Kwong Lung die in Sugar Land, Fort Bend County, Texas, on or about June 26, 2023?
Yes.
Was Mr. Lung age 73 years and residing at 5025 Mayflower Street, Houston, Harris County, Texas, at and before his death?
No, the address is wrong. He died in June 26, 2023, but the address is 2206 Bent River Drive, Sugar
The
Land,
age, was he 83 years of age?
73 years old.
Okay, that's what I asked. I asked if he was Mr. Long age 73 years?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, you've been handed a document filed for probate as the purported last will and testament of Jason Chi Kwong Lung.
Yes.
Do you recognize this document?
Yes.
Okay. To your knowledge, is that the decedent's signature appearing on this document?
Yes.
To your knowledge, did Mr. Lung die without revoking his will dated December 5th, 2019?
Yeah, no revoke.
Was there a child or children born to or adopted by Mr. Lung after execution of the will?
No.
At the time of the execution of the will, was Mr. Long of sound mind and at least 18 years of age?
Yes.
Did Mr. Lung have a marriage dissolve after the will was made?
No.
Have 4 years elapsed between Mr. Lung's death and the date when the application for the probate of Mr. Lung's will was filed?
No.
Is the state of Texas or any charity a devisee under Mr. Lung's will?
No.
At the time of his death, did Mr. Lung own property valued in excess of $10,000 in Fort Bend County?
Yes.
Does a necessity exist for the administration of Mr. Lung's estate?
Can you repeat it?
Does a necessity exist for the administration of Mr. Lung's estate?
Yes.
Does the will appoint you, Bonnie K. Loong, as independent executrix?
Yes.
Is there any reason why you should not serve as independent executrix?
No.
And are you asking the court to waive the bond and the appointment of appraisers?
Yes.
And lastly, are you asking the court to admit the last will and testament of Jason Chi Kwang Loong to probate and appoint you as the independent executrix of the estate and issue letters testamentary?
Yes.
No further questions, Your Honor.
All right, the court heard the testimony of Bonnie Loong. She testified as to the proof of death, validity of the will, and other facts. The court will admit the will into probate and appoint Ms. Loong as independent executrix to serve without bond, and appraisers will be waived as well. Ma'am, I'm very sorry for your loss.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Mr. Singleton, anything further?
Nothing further from us, Your Honor.
All right, your order will be signed shortly.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, can I request for the certified copy of my husband's will, because I don't have the original will. So if I need for somewhere place I need it, can I get the certified copy from the court?
Yes, you can go to the county clerk's office and you can order a certified copy of the will through them. You might be able to do it over the internet or over the phone, but I would contact the county clerk's office.
Oh, I see. Even the certified copy of the letter testamentary, if I need more certified copy, can I get it?
You'll get all those through the county clerk's office.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Have a good day.
May I be excused, Your Honor?
Yes, you may.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Mr. Jacob, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear us okay?
Yes. And is that the applicant Wendy Pham with you?
That is correct. Yes, she is here with me in my office.
Very good. Let's go ahead and get started. We're on the record in 24 CPR 040847, estate of David Tri Duong. Ma'am, if you'd raise your right hand to be sworn by the court. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you make here today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God.
Yes, sir.
Very good. You may proceed.
Thank you. All right. Wendy, please state your name for the court.
My full name is Wendy Huang Pham.
And is it true that you were married to David Tri Duong at the time of his death?
Yes, sir.
And he died on March 2nd, 2024 in Fort Bend County, Texas, the age of 57 years. Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
All right. And is it true that you guys had a residence and fixed place of domicile in Fort Bend County at the time of your death? The time of his death?
Yes, sir.
And is it true, as far as you know or believe, Wendy, that he died without having revoked the will that we're seeking to probate today, which is dated August 25th, 2016?
Yes.
Okay. Is it true that a necessity exists for the administration of its estate?
Yes.
And is it true that no children were born to or adopted by you two after the date of that will? Is it true that he was not divorced after the date of the will?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is it true that neither a charitable organization nor the state of Texas or any governmental agency is named in the will as a devisee?
Yes.
And is it true, Wendy, that you were named as independent executor in the will, that you're not disqualified by law from accepting that role or from serving as independent executor?
Yes, sir.
I'm showing you on the screen now. You see the will that we're seeking to probate. You recognize that to be David's signature?
Yeah, right. That's my husband's signature.
Very good. Your Honor, it's a non-taxable estate, so we seek to have appraisers waived.
Okay. Anything further?
That is all.
All right. Court heard the testimony of Wendy Huang Pham. She testified as to the proof of death, validity of the will, and other facts. The court will admit the will to probate and appoint Ms. Pham as independent executrix to serve without bond, and appraisers will be waived as well. Ms. Pham, I'm very sorry for your loss.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Jacob. You have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Ms. Roa,
Good morning.
good morning. Is your client with you?
No, I'll be giving the testimony.
Did you draft the will or your law
I
firm?
did, yes, I did.
All right, we're here on the record in 24 CPR 040864, Estate of Lynn Elwood Open House. If you raise your right hand, you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you provide here today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help you God.
I do.
Very good. Proceed.
My name is Elizabeth Rowett. I am the attorney for the applicant Timothy Ryan Obenhouse. I knew the decedent Lynn Elwood Obenhouse and prepared his last will and testament as submitted for probate in this case. The decedent died on April 6th, 2024 at the age of 75 years, He was a resident of Fort Bend County, Texas at the time of his death. I recognize the will dated February 11th, 2021 that was filed for probate in this case as the decedent's last will and testament. Your Honor, I would ask you to take judicial notice of the original will in the file.
The court shall take judicial notice.
Thank you. To the best of my knowledge, the decedent never revoked this will. After the date of the will, the decedent did not have a marriage dissolved, nor did he adopt or have born to him any children. The will does not name a state agency, or charity as a beneficiary. There is a need to administer this estate. The will appoints Timothy Ryan Obenhouse to serve without bond as independent executor. He has not been convicted of a felony or otherwise disqualified to serve as executor. I ask the court to admit the will to probate, appoint Timothy Ryan Obenhouse to serve as independent executor, and to waive bond and appraisers.
Order the testimony of Elizabeth Rowett. She testified as to the proof of death, validity of the will, and other facts. The court will admit the will in the probate and appoint Mr. Timothy Ryan Obenhouse as independent executor, serve without bond, and appraisers will be waived as well.
Right.
Anything further,
Thank
counsel?
you. That is all. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you. You too.
Can everybody hear me?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, very good. Let's go ahead and get started. We're on the record in 24 CPR 040612, Estate of Raleigh B. Cork, also known as Raleigh Bruce Cork. All those who intend to testify, if you'd raise your right hand to be sworn by the court. Ms. Sweeney, I think you're going to be providing testimony.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you provide here today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God.
I do.
Very good. Mr. Wright, you may proceed with the proof of.
Yes, Your Honor. Gregory Wright here on behalf of Amber Walker, also known as Amber Sweeney. Please state your full name for the court.
Amber Walker Sweeney.
And how did you know the decedent Raleigh B. Cork, also known as Raleigh Bruce Cork?
He was my great-grandfather.
Is it correct that the decedent died on October 14th of 2023?
That is correct.
Is it correct that the decedent died in Stafford, Fort Bend County, Texas?
That is correct.
Is it correct that the decedent was age 89 at the age of his death?
That is correct.
Is it correct that 4 years have not elapsed since the age of his death?
That is correct.
Is it correct that the decedent had a fixed place of residence in Fort Bend County on the date of his death?
That is correct.
Is there a necessity for this estate to pay debts and transfer assets?
Not to my knowledge.
Actually, let me rephrase the question. Is there a necessity to come in here and do probate for this estate?
Oh, yes, that is correct.
Yeah. Okay. If you look on the screen, there's the last will right here. They're scrolling down here. If you look on the bottom right corner, there's little initials, and there is the signature page. Do you recognize that handwriting?
I do.
And is that the signature of Raleigh B. Corrick?
That is the signature.
And does that look like the last will and testament of Raleigh B. Corrick?
Yes.
To the best of your knowledge, yes. Okay. Is this will dated May 14th, 2017, now shown to you, in which purports to be the decedent's last will and testament, true and correct, and never revoked to the best of your knowledge?
That is correct.
And there were no child or children born or adopted after this will was made. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And there was no marriage dissolved or divorce, an annulment, and the marriage wasn't declared void after the making of this will. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And this will names you to be the independent executor without bond. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And we've talked a little bit about the qualifications of being the executor in Texas. And you've never been convicted of a felony or a crime of moral turpitude, and you are over the age of 18. Is that correct?
Those are all correct.
Yes. Okay. And there's no charity or no charity or governmental agency that is a devisee in this will, is there?
No.
Okay. And is there any other reason you can think of that you are not qualified to be an executor in this estate?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. No further questions, Your Honor.
All right, the court heard the testimony of Amber Walker, also known as Amber Sweeney. She testified as to the proof of death, validity of the will, and other facts. Court will admit the will into probate and appoint Ms. Walker as independent executrix to serve without bond, and appraisers will be waived as well. I'm very sorry for your loss, ma'am.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Anything further for the record, Mr. Wright?
No, Your Honor, I rest.
All right, very good. I will sign the order shortly. Y'all have a
Thank
great
you, Your Honor. You too.
Good morning.
Good
morning.
morning.
Mr. Deeds. Good morning. Is that Susan Jacob there with you?
Yes, Your
Yes,
Honor.
Your Honor.
Very good. All right, let's go ahead and get started. We're on the record in 24 CPR 040828, the state of Jacob M. Chaco. Ma'am, if you'd raise your right hand to be sworn by the court. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you provide here today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
Very good. Mr. Meeks, you may proceed with your prove up.
Thank you, Your Honor. Would you state your name for the record, please?
My name is Susan Jacob.
And Jacob M. Chaco was your husband?
Yes, sir, for 36 years.
He passed away on February 23rd, 2024 at the age of 64 years.
Yes, sir.
He was a resident of this county at the time of death.
Yes, sir.
The court, can the court present the will for the witness, please?
Yes, I will. 1 second.
Court will show you a document dated April 1st, 2003, which purports to be the last will and testament of your husband. And we're going to ask you if you recognize that document to be his will.
You see the will?
The will,
Yes,
ma'am?
sir.
Is that his will?
Yes, Your Honor.
And the court's going to scroll down. He's initialed the
Yes.
document. And then I'm going to ask you if you recognize his signature there on the,
Yes, Your Honor. It's his signature.
okay. Were there any amendments to the will that you're aware of?
No,
Okay. Are you aware of any instrument revoking that will?
no,
To the best of your knowledge, did he write another will after this one?
no, sir.
Was he of sound mind when he signed that will?
Yes,
He was over 18 years of age at that time?
yes,
And you were married to him at the time he signed the will, and you remained married to him until he died?
yes, Your Honor.
And has anyone contested that this will is invalid?
No,
No, there's been no one challenging it?
no,
Okay. Has a probate been started in some other any other jurisdiction?
No,
Okay, and you're named in the will to be the executor of the will,
yes,
and you're the sole beneficiary of the will, it's your
Yes.
spouse?
yes.
And is there a necessity for the court to have this administration for probate so you can transfer property and things like that?
Yes,
Okay, and so you're asking the judge to appoint you as the executor and require you to just return the inventory and appraisement.
yes, Your Honor.
That's all I have, Your Honor.
Court heard the testimony of Susan Jacob. She testified as to the proof of death, validity of the will, and other facts. The court will admit the will into probate and appoint Ms. Jacob as independent executrix to serve without bond, and appraisers will be waived as well. I'm very sorry for your loss, ma'am.
Is Your Honor,
Your Honor.
can she go ahead and sign her oath, or do we need to wait for you to sign
She can go ahead and take care of that. The order will be signed in just a second.
Very good. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank
May we
you.
be excused?
Yes, you may.
Thank you.
Go back to number one. Wizard, can you hear me?
Yes, Your Honor. Sorry about that. Our AC is out in our office. I was getting my jacket back on.
Okay, not a problem. Mr. Pravda, can you hear me? If you'd unmute yourself to respond, please.
Yes, sir. I can hear you. Sorry about that.
Okay. All right, we're on the record in 24 CPR 040610, estate of Richard J. Horowitz. Mr. Pravda, if you raise your right hand, be sworn by the court. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you provide here today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Very good. Wizard, you may proceed.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Pravda, can you please state your full name for the record?
Yes, it's Brian Pravda. Middle name is David.
And the decedent Richard Horowitz was your stepfather, correct?
Yes.
and he passed away on December 23rd, 2023 at the age of 77, correct?
Yes.
And at the time of his death, was he domiciled and have a fixed place of residence in Fort Bend County?
Yes.
Okay. And do you recognize the document on the screen as the decedent's last will and testament that was dated June 7th, 2023?
Yes.
Your Honor, I ask that the court take judicial notice of the will on file.
The court shall take judicial notice. I'm scrolling to the last page, the signature page as well.
Great, thank you, Your Honor. And to the best of your knowledge, Mr. Pravda, on June 7th, 2023, was the decedent at least 18 years of age and of sound mind?
Yes.
And to the best of your knowledge, did the decedent ever revoke this will?
No.
And after the date of the will, were any children born to or adopted by the decedent?
No.
And after the date of the will, were any marriages of the decedent dissolved?
No.
And the will is self-proved under section 251.101 of the Texas Estates Code, correct?
Yes.
And
Yes, sir.
did not name the state of Texas, a governmental entity of the state of Texas, or any charitable organization as a D by Z, correct?
Correct. He did not.
And there's a necessity for administration of this estate, correct?
Yes.
And the wills named you to serve without bond or other security as independent executor of the decedent's estate, correct?
Yes.
And you are qualified and not disqualified by law from serving as independent executor and accepting letters testamentary, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Your Honor, I have no more questions at this time, and we ask that you admit the will of Mr. Horwitz to probate.
All right, the court heard the testimony of Brian David Pravda. He testified as to the proof of death, validity of the will, and other facts. The court will admit the will into probate and appoint Mr. Pravda as independent executor to serve without bond. And appraisers will be waived as well. Sir, I'm very sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
All right, anything further, Mr. Wizig?
Nothing further, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, I hope your AC comes on soon.
Thank you. So do we.
Have a good one.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mr. Howard, good morning. Can you hear me?
Good morning, Judge Morales. Yes, I can.
Okay, and is that Miss Moreno next to you?
This is.
Yes, good morning.
Morning. All right, let's go ahead and proceed. Yeah, ma'am, if you'd raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you provide here today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
All right, we are on the record in 23 CPR 040074, State of Benito Moreno. Mr. Howard, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Would you please state your name?
Aralia Jansen Moreno,
And how are you related to the decedent, Benito Moreno?
the widow.
And Mr. Benito Moreno died on March 26, 2017 in Houston, Harris County at the age of 69 years. Is that correct?
Correct.
And this court has jurisdiction and venue over the estate in that Mr. Moreno lived in Fort Bend County at the time of his death. Is that correct?
Yes.
And Mr. Moreno died with a will, and his will was signed on August 18th, 2011. Is that correct?
Yes.
And Judge, at this time, perhaps you're going to display the will, or?
I'll handle that. Just give me 1 second.
Okay. All right, Ms. Moreno, do you recognize this document to be the last will and testament of Mr. Benito Moreno?
Yes.
And do you recognize the signature to be his?
Yes.
And to the best of your knowledge, this will was never revoked. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, it has been more than 4 years since Mr. Moreno passed. Is that correct?
Yes.
But are you suggesting to the court that you are not in default for failing to present this will for probate within 4 years of the date of Mr. Moreno's death?
Yes.
And now you were not the executor named in Mr. Moreno's will, is that correct?
Yes.
Your two daughters, Belinda Moreno Cooper and Bobby Moreno Acaron, were named as joint executors, is that correct?
Yes.
And they both signed waivers waiving their right to be executors, is that correct?
Yes.
And in the will, Mr. Moreno named you his only devisee, is that correct?
Yes.
Now, you were unaware that there was a need to probate the will at all, is that correct?
Yes.
And also for several years, you were taking care of your ill mother in Kennedy, Texas, and you did not have the opportunity to revisit probating the will until after your mother's death and also dealing with your brother's death. Is that correct?
Yes.
And after the date of the will, there was no child born to or adopted by Mr. Moreno. Is that correct?
Yes.
And no marriage was ever dissolved after the will was made. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you're currently seeking to have the will probated as a muniment of title so that you can transfer Mr. Moreno's ownership share in your community property home to you. Is that correct?
Yes.
And otherwise, there's no need for administration. Is that correct?
Correct.
And to the best of your knowledge, there are no debts owed by Mr. Moreno's estate. Is that correct?
Correct.
And Mr. Moreno did not apply for or receive Medicare benefits on or after March 1st, 2005. Is that correct?
Correct.
And are you asking the court to admit Mr. Moreno's will to probate as a muniment of title?
Correct.
And are you asking for the requirement of the filing of an affidavit of fulfillment be waived?
Yes.
All right, Your Honor, I have nothing else.
All right, the court heard the testimony of Aurelia Alvarez Moreno. She testified as to the proof of death, validity of the will, and other facts. The court finds that Aurelia Alvarez Moreno is not in default for failing to offer the will for probate within 4 years of decedent's death. The court will admit the will into probate as a muniment of title, and I'll waive the affidavit of fulfillment of terms as well. Ma'am, I'm very sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
Anything
Thank
to
you.
say, Mr. Howard?
Thank you, Your Honor, and maybe we be dismissed.
Yes, you may.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Have a good day.
You too.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. It'll be just one moment while the interpreter connects.
Thank you. Come a little closer.
Acérquese un poquito más.
Ms. Zapata, can you hear me?
I can, Your Honor.
Okay. Let's go ahead and get started. We're on the record in 24 CPR 040770, estate of Teresa Olvera Gonzalez. If I have the interpreter raise her right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will truly and accurately translate from English to Spanish and from Spanish to English, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
Very good. If you'd like, you can go ahead and interpret what I've stated so far.
Sí, bueno, entonces este es el caso de la señora Teresa Olvera González.
If I could have all those who intend to testify raise their right hand to be sworn by the court.
Todas las personas que están a punto de declarar, levanten la mano derecha para juramentar ante el tribunal.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you provide here today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Ustedes juran o protestan que la declaración que están a punto de rendir ante el tribunal es la verdad, toda la verdad, bajo el amparo de Dios.
Sí.
Yes.
Okay, he can lower his hand.
Ya puede bajar la mano.
And Mr. Albright, you may proceed with your prove up. Please be mindful of not overloading the interpreter with more than a couple sentences.
Sí, bueno,
Yes,
señor
Your Honor.
Albright puede seguir adelante con su caso y evite decir demasiado para no sobreagobiar al intérprete.
Mr. Soriano, would you please state your name for the court?
Señor Soriano, por favor, diga su nombre para el tribunal.
Norberto García Soriano.
Norberto García Soriano.
Mr. Soriano, is it true that Teresa Olvera Gonzalez, the decedent, died on December 26, 2020 at Houston, Harris County, Texas, at the age of 75 years?
Señor, ¿es cierto que Teresa Olvera González falleció el 26 de diciembre del 2020 en
Sí.
Houston, el condado de Harris, a los 76 años de edad?
Sí.
Yes.
Is it true that her domicile at the time of her death was 840 West Dallas Street, number C, Fresno, Fort Bend County, Texas?
Y es cierto que su domicilio en el momento de su fallecimiento era el 840 West Dallas Street en Fresno, Fort Bend County, Texas?
Sí.
Yes.
Is it true that 4 years have not passed since the date of her death?
Es cierto que no han pasado 4 años de la fecha de su fallecimiento.
Sí.
Yes.
Is it true that this court has jurisdiction and venue because the decedent was domiciled in Texas and had a fixed place of residence in Fort Bend County on the date of her death?
Es cierto de que este tribunal tiene tanto la jurisdicción como la ubicación adecuada, ya que la señora fallecida ya falleció en Texas y tenía un lugar fijo de residencia ubicado en el condado de Fort Bend.
Sí.
Yes.
Is it true that at the time of decedent's death, the decedent owned real property in the state of Texas and personal property with a probable value in excess of $100,000?
Y es cierto que en el momento del fallecimiento de la señora Oxisa, ella era propietaria de bienes inmobiliarios y bienes personales con el valor presunto a $100,000.
Sí.
Yes.
Is it true that the decedent did not apply for and receive Medicaid benefits on or after March 1st, 2005?
Es cierto que la señora fallecida no solicitó ni recibía beneficios de Medicaid después de marzo 1 del 2005.
Sí.
Yes.
All right, Mr. Soriano, looking at the screen now, do you see the document that has been offered into court as the last will and testament of Teresa Olvera Gonzalez?
Ahora, señor Soriano, usted mira en la pantalla este documento que se le que se le presentó ante el tribunal como ser el último testamento de la señora Teresa González.
Sí.
Yes.
Is it true that the decedent left a valid will dated October 22nd, 2014, which is displayed on the screen and which was never revoked?
Y es cierto que la señora dejó un testamento con la fecha del 22 de octubre del 2014 que está aquí en la aparece aquí en la pantalla y nunca ha sido revocado.
Sí.
Yes.
Is it true the will was self-proved in the manner prescribed by law?
Y es cierto que este testamento fue autoprobado en una manera como lo dispone la ley.
Sí.
Yes.
Is it true that the subscribing witnesses to the will and their present addresses are George James Cleggs and Gloria Cleggs?
Y es cierto que los testigos, los suscritos testigos aquí en el testamento con las direcciones válidas es el señor George James Cleggs y la señora This interpreter needs the name Gladys Cleggs. Is that correct?
Gloria Cleggs.
Y la señora Gloria Cleggs.
Sí.
Yes.
And so far as you know, their resident address is 227 East Palm Street, Fresno, Texas, 77545.
Y es como por lo que sabe usted, su dirección es la 227 East Palmer, Fresno, Texas, 77545.
Sí.
Yes.
Is it true that the will names Jose de Jesus Coronado Moreno as independent executor, whose residence is 303 West Dallas, Fresno, Texas?
Y es cierto que este testamento nombra al albacea o el testamentario ejecutivo de Francisco Moreno con la dirección de 303 West Dallas en Fresno, Texas.
Sí.
Yes.
Is it true that no children were born to or adopted by decedent after the date of the will?
Y es cierto que ningún niño fue nacido ni adoptado después de la fecha del testamento.
Sí.
Yes.
Is it true that no marriage of the decedent was ever dissolved after the will was made?
Y es cierto que ningún matrimonio de la señora Oxisa fue formulado después de que se hizo este testamento.
Sí.
Yes.
Is it true that neither the state, a governmental agency of the state, or a charitable organization is named by the will as a devisee?
Y es cierto que ni el Estado, ni ninguna dependencia del Estado, ni ninguna organización caricativa fue nombrado como un beneficiario de este testamento.
Sí.
Yes.
Is it true that you have investigated the affairs of the decedent?
Y es cierto que usted ha investigado las actuaciones de la Oxisa.
Sí.
Yes.
And is it true that to the best of your knowledge and belief, there are no unpaid debts owing by the estate of the decedent, exclusive of any debts secured by liens on real estate?
Y es cierto que por lo que usted mejor conozca y sepa, según su leal entender, no hay ninguna deuda contra contra la hipoteca de la casa que ha incurrido la señora Oxisa.
Sí.
Yes.
And is it true there is no necessity for administration on this estate?
Y es cierto que no hay la necesidad de tener una administración conforme a estos bienes.
Sí.
Yes.
And is it true that you're asking the court to admit the will of Teresa Olvera Gonzalez as a muniment of title?
Y es cierto que usted está pidiéndole a este tribunal que acepte como una titular este testamento.
Sí.
Yes.
Your Honor, I pass the witness.
Paso el testigo, su señoría.
All right, the court heard the testimony of Norberto Garcia Soriano, excuse me.
Se escuchó la declaración del señor this interpreter must apologize, Your Honor. May I have the name again?
Norberto Garcia Soriano.
El señor Norberto García Soriano.
He testified as to the proof of death, validity of the will, and other facts.
Él declaró sobre la probanza del fallecimiento, el testamento, entre otros hechos.
Court will admit the will and probate as a muniment of title and waive the affidavit of fulfillment of terms.
Este tribunal acepta el testamento y desecha la necesidad de tener una administración.
Mr. Soriano, I'm sorry for your loss.
Señor Soriano, siento su pérdida.
Okay, sir.
Yes, thank you.
Mr. Albright, anything further?
No,
¿Algo
Your Honor.
más, señor Albright? No, su señoría.
Thank you. You have a good day.
Gracias, que tengan buen día.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Gracias,
Ms. Zapata,
señores.
thank you.
Thank
Okay.
you, Your Honor.
Eric, you're here on Choate, correct?
No, Your Honor, Sean is covering Choate.
Well, you're here already. Let's go ahead and do the guardianship. You're here then on Takina.
On Bipialaka, yeah. Takena Bipialaka.
Laka.
Adora, if you can hear us, please turn on your camera and unmute.
Morning, sir.
There we go.
Morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Morning. All right, I think everybody's connected and can hear me. Let's go ahead and get started. We're on the record in 24 CPR 040503, guardianship for Wesley Takina Biblaka. All those who intend to testify, if you would raise your right hand to be sworn by the court. Each of you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony provided here today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help you God.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, very good. All right, Mr. Junker, if you want to get us started.
Your Honor, we are here in the guardianship of Wesley Takena Bipialaka. I call my first witness, Uzumaka Adora Bipialaka. Adora, what's your relation to Wesley?
I'm Wesley's mother.
And he's 20 years old, turned his birthday is September 4th, 2003, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
He lives here in Fort Bend County with you?
Yes, that's correct.
Could you tell the judge a little bit about him and his condition?
Tekena was diagnosed with autism at the age of 2. He has been living with us at home, and he has been undergoing therapies, speech therapy, occupational therapy. Yes.
Okay, and when we started this process, he was seen by Dr. James Trippett. Is that one of his regular physicians?
Yes.
And we have a certificate of medical evaluation based on a visit of November 1st, 2023. Your Honor, we'd ask the court take judicial notice that the original unredacted is on file with y'all.
The court shall take judicial notice.
Adora, Dr. Trippett concluded that Tekena is totally incapacitated. He relies on you for all of his decision making. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
He cannot make any of his fundamental decisions on his own, can he?
Yes, he cannot.
Okay, when we started talking about this, we talked about alternatives to guardianship, such as supported decision-making agreements, powers of attorney. Tekena wouldn't understand those, would he?
No, he wouldn't.
At this point, the only thing we have to advocate for him and fight for him is a guardianship, correct?
Yes.
Now, you are seeking to be guardian alone, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and so his father and his brother have both signed waivers stating that they know what's going on here, and they have not contested this in any way, have they?
No, they haven't contested.
Okay. And of course, Tekena was served by the constable.
Yes.
Did you go through and do the training that was required by the state?
Yes.
And we've registered you with the Judicial Commission. Your background check has come back clear as far as we know. Any reason you'd be disqualified from serving as guardian?
No.
And in fact, you are the most qualified person on this planet to be serving as Tekena's guardian, aren't you?
Yes.
Does he have any money in his name that we need to worry about a guardianship of his estate?
No.
And finally, you understand you're going to be under court supervision from now on, meaning you will have to file an annual report every year to keep the court aware of his situation and any changes, particularly if he moves from county to county or state to state. You're prepared to do that, yes?
Absolutely. Yes.
I'll pass the witness.
Ms. King.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, Ms. Bibialaka. I just have some follow-up questions to Mr. Junker's questions. I want the court to know a little bit more about Tekena. He lives with you and your husband, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, and does anyone else live with you?
My other children, my two other children, Edward and Elizabeth.
How old is Elizabeth?
Elizabeth is 7.
Okay. And
Edward
Edward,
is 22.
Okay. And tell the court about Tekena's education, what he has completed.
He has completed up until the 9th grade.
And is
where,
he doing, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, where he stopped at the 9th grade.
And he's not going to be returning to high school, is that correct?
Not at the moment, no.
And Tekena stays at home with you, is that right?
Yes, he does.
You are not currently working outside the home, correct?
Not.
Okay. And tell the court what your plans are for Tekena in the way of further education, possible work opportunities.
At this time, I am seeking to get him into the workforce. As per education, I am not sure he has the ability to, assimilate anything right now, but I am seeking to get him into the workforce.
Okay. And we talked about, Tekena does have some really good skills. He is very organized, is that right?
Yes, his organizationals are very good.
And he's a good listener, is that right?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, so you and I have talked about different possible jobs for him, like potentially working at a grocery store or something like that, that would be something that he would be really good at. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay. And I know from talking with you that you work really hard to explore and investigate and try to find things for Tekena to do that so that he could demonstrate his skills and make the most of his life. Is that right?
Yes.
And that's something you're going to continue to do, correct?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. Tekena is not currently under a guardianship and he doesn't have a power of attorney, is that right? That's okay, take your time.
So sorry.
That's all right.
Okay.
Take your time.
Okay.
All right. I just wanted to confirm for the court that Tekena is not currently under a guardianship and he doesn't have a power of attorney either. Is that right?
Yes, he's not.
Okay. And as guardian of his person, if the court appoints you, is that you will provide him with care and supervision and protection just as you always have done, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And I know you know this, but I just need to ask, you have the duty to provide him with clothing, food, shelter, medical care, and mental health care if needed, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you understand that you will have the power to consent to his health care.
Yes.
And do you understand that if the court appoints you guardian of the person, you will have to file an annual report of the person every year?
Yes.
Okay. And just generally, you will continue to protect Takana's rights. Is that correct?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. I have no further questions.
Mr. Junker, anything further?
No further witnesses, Your Honor.
All right, after listening to testimony, the court finds by clear and convincing evidence that Wesley Takena Biblaka is totally incapacitated in need of a guardian with full authority over the person. The court finds that a guardianship is warranted and appoints Uzumaka Biblaka as guardian of the person of the proposed ward. Bond is set at $50. The court's going to discharge Ms. King as attorney ad litem in the matter and award her a fee in the amount of $650.
Thank you, Your Honor. May we be excused?
Ms. Biblaka, good luck to you. Just make sure
Thank
you
you.
file that report every year. If you have any questions, I'm sure Mr. Junk will be happy to help you out. If not, the court can help you as well. All right.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Have a great day.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank
Thank y'all. Y'all are free to go.
Thank you.
There we are. Can you hear us, Judge?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, great.
All right, we are on the record in 24 CPR 040774, state of Paul DeGroat. Ma'am, if you'd raise your right hand to be sworn by the court. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you provide here today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Johnson, you may proceed.
Thank you, Judge. Mona, please state your full name and relation to Paul DeGroat.
Mona Choate.
And did Paul die on December 28th, 2023 in Katy, Fort Bend County, Texas?
Yes.
And was he living in Katy, Fort Bend County, Texas at the time of his death?
Yes.
And Judge has placed his will on the screen. Do you recognize that to be his last will and testament?
Yes.
And do you recognize, we'll get down there. There it is. Do you recognize his signature and that he signed in front of two witnesses and a notary?
Yes.
And was Paul of sound mind and at least 18 years old when he signed this will?
Yes.
Did he ever revoke this will?
No.
Were any children born to or adopted by Paul after signing that will?
No.
Did he dissolve a marriage after signing the will?
No.
Did the will give anything to the state of Texas, a governmental agency, or charity?
No.
Did Paul apply for and receive Medicaid benefits on or after March 1st, 2005?
No.
And to the best of your knowledge and belief, are there any unpaid debts owed by Paul's estate other than any debts secured by liens on and real estate?
No.
And is there a need for administration of this estate?
No.
Nothing further, Judge.
All right, the court heard the testimony of Mona Choate. She testified as to the proof of death, validity of the will, and other facts. The court will admit the will and approbate as immune of title, and I'll waive the affidavit of fulfillment of terms as well. Ma'am, I'm very sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Johnson, anything further?
Nothing further, Judge. May we be excused?
Y'all have a great day.
You too.
Thank you.
Ms. Nwagbala, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Judge. Thank you.
Okay, very good. We are on the record in 23 CPR 039387, Guardianship of Grace, Iowa. We're here for a application for allowance of wards dependent, essentially allowance of $2,824.34 per month. If I could just get some testimony as to the needs of each of these items that are requested, and we can go from there. Okay.
Yes, Judge.
All right.
Would you?
Yeah, let me swear the witness in. So, ma'am, if you'd raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you provide here today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, very good. If you lower your hand. All right, Counselor, why don't you go ahead and ask some questions regarding each of these items that have been requested. And then if I have any further questions, I'll ask those of the witness.
Okay. Ms. Iyawa, right here on this side, I have for you the application for allowance for wards dependent. That's Gabby. So you'll see here the proposed budget. So just wanted to touch base on some of these things that I think are more of a higher amount. Could you tell us a little bit more about the school yearly tuition? Is that going to be just for does that incorporate the entire tuition, or is that something else? Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, the $1,891.84 is per month, monthly school fees.
And then we have here just like personal hygiene, hair care, uniforms. What would that go towards?
That we go towards like going to this salon to do her hair, the uniform, which we get from the school or sometimes and then the toileting, like lotion and everything, which is
Hold on. We've lost our court reporter.
Okay.
Let me try to get her back. 1 second. All right, her computer froze, so we're just waiting for it to restart, and she'll get back on.
Sorry about that.
It's okay. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Actually, I just have one question that I want to ask based on the most recent inventory that was filed of June this year. I show there's $387,182.63 of total property in the estate. Most of that is not liquid. The only cash on hand is $27,412.63. Based on that number, if we're looking at the liquidity of the estate right now and what's on hand, we will go through that relatively quickly based on this allowance, correct?
Yes, sir.
So
I'm sorry. Yes,
has
sir.
the property been sold, or is it going to be sold to help pay for this allowance long term?
So long-term, Your Honor, so my understanding is we have to get permission to sell the property.
Correct.
Which is something that we're still discussing. So no, the property has not been sold. Nothing has been sold. However, I did not know where or did not see where to put income. So as of right now, the ward herself is retired and receives pension from her previous position with the county as a pharmacist. So her monthly pension is $4,248.31 per month. And she gets that until her passing. Hopefully that's many, many, many years from now. And then she also has disability that she receives that comes in per month at $2,179. That one is something that her insurance company will check in every 6 months and determine if she still receives it or not. She just received a check-in this month, so that's something that will be current for the next 6 months and something that she has been receiving since she applied for retirement. So in total, as of right now, she receives $6,427.31 per month as income.
Okay. We're gonna need to reflect that in the estate, I guess, then to correct the inventory, but let's move on. That was kind of the burning question based on what I had seen in the estate when I got this application. No further questions are necessary. I'm approving the allowance.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Judge.
Anything further for the record, ma'am?
I wasn't sure if we were going to do also the ward's dependent as well as the budget for the ward herself.
The application for allowance for the ward is a total of $1,386.47, correct?
That should be the total for personal, and then an additional. Yeah, so that's personal monthly maintenance, and then an additional there we go, $597.76 to take care of her home. So that's mowing the lawn, her assessment fee for the HOA, things of that nature. So the total monthly is $1,984.23.
Based on the income that she's getting every month, I mean, that her income alone or retirement would pay for everything. Correct?
Yes. So if
that doesn't include disability.
Yes.
Okay. And that income, that retirement income, is that guaranteed for the remainder of her life, or is that how is that set up? Is it a 401k? What is the
No? So it's she worked for Harris County.
She's got a go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Sorry, Your Honor. So she worked for Harris County. So that's pension. So that's for her the rest of her life.
Okay. I'll grant all of them then based on that. Okay. Anything further?
No, Your Honor.
All right. You are free to go. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Any else? Hey, come to my office real quick.